Hello everyone, today we'll travel back to medieval Bohemia and take a look at Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I heard a lot of praise about this game and played it twice. The story is not the crowning jewel, that is somewhere else entirely, and let me show you where it lies. Let's start with the beginning. The game is quite hard to get into. When you're over with the introductory part and thrown into the wide open world, there is no handholding. I really struggle to understand what the hell is going on. Like how to make money, how to survive, where to eat, where and what to buy, where to sleep was the biggest one for me. Though eventually, yeah, the blacksmith guide gives you a place to sleep. Still, the beginning felt a bit overwhelming, especially the unceremonious way you're thrown in. Thinking of it now, it's quite fitting. It does connect you with Henry because, well, you're both in this exact situation of not having anything and not knowing really how to proceed or where to go. Honestly, there are almost no wrong answers here, which is absolutely lovely. You're pretty much free to do anything that comes to your mind. Want to steal and get the loot fast? Go. Want to go and try yourself in alchemy or blacksmithing? Sure. They are quite enjoyable experiences, but more about them later. So slowly, like a toddler, you do your first steps in the medieval Bohemia. And first thing I noticed was the graphics. They were amazing. The level of detail is really good. You can feel yourself transported to medieval Europe. I really like the locations. The villages feel natural and lived in. The forest and the old world itself feels big and full. I'm honestly not a guy that really likes first-person games, but this game did it right. It doesn't feel bothersome to go far away, the landscape changes quickly while feeling really big. That's what I think is one of the magic points of that game. It does an impression of being really large while being small enough to feel full of content and easy to go around. That's what I call masterful execution, for sure. Another thing I really like about it, though it's not really exclusive to this one, is learn by doing mechanic, where you get your levels through repeatedly doing the thing you wanted to level up. It has its bad sides, but again, it feels natural here and the implementation felt right. Most of the mechanics are great, some of them are really punishing, but fair. Something that you would expect to happen in the real world. If you all go on a stealing spree at night, then someone will notice and believe it was you who robbed them. It's actually amazing in the villages, because, well, who wouldn't put stealing on a new guy that came to a quiet village and the next thing they know, they got robbed blind? You can manage to get out of all of that with many different paths. Still, it does add some more fun though, which I enjoyed quite thoroughly. Henry of Gaslitz is amazing. I have laughed at some of his responses, and those are gold.
You see, I don't hear very well. Back when I was fighting against those Hungarian raiders, I had a hand cannon go off next to my head. Ever since then, I've been half deaf.
While talking about the mechanics, the blacksmithing and alchemy are fun. You actually have to form the metal to make a sword, for example. Do the most important steps, preheat, heat it 100 times until it takes shape, and quench. While there are not many ways to really screw things up, it brings the nice, almost soothing quality to it. Feels like a form of meditation that's broken by my exceptional ability to not get into the freaking rhythm. Though by hour 150 I got quite good at it. All of this instead of the normal gather this and press a button, which now feels quite boring. While we are at the subject of blacksmithing, the Legacy of the Forge DLC is quite good. I really like the pace that got slowed down. Just getting your house made, upgraded, selling your stuff easily was something I liked too. The repeating quests are a nice addition as well. The only thing I would advise if you didn't play the game yet is not to leave the DLC until the end of the game, because by then you will have more than enough money to upgrade anything you want, which kind of takes the fun out of the building your smithy. And yeah, it could feel a bit repetitive if you just forge day in and day out. Thankfully, there are other things like dice games, duels, investigation quests that come each day. I have a feeling that we'll see more of that kind of mini crafting games. Not to say that the Warhorse actually came up with the mechanic itself. For example, Fable 3 had similar thing in it. It was either cake or bread baking and was sort of the same to name one, which I can remember on the spot. Though this one feels quite complete and thoughtful and adds to the immersion of the game itself. Talking about the good stuff, Alchemy. Alchemy is my kind of jam. I really do like boiling and timing stuff, Even more so that it gives me more opportunity to do it my way, to try and find the best and quickest possible way to brew a best possible version of whatever I'm making. Like skipping the right way for the fast way, and it's really fun. You do mess up more, but hey, worth it for me to make a bit more enjoyable and challenging. With the skill tree progression, you have two choices: making more in a single run or making more mistakes and not being punished for it. I would choose the numbers, because even though it's fun, doing it all the time will get boring. Other minigames, stealthy ones, are good too, pickpocketing and lockpicking. Surely they are less detailed, but still takes a bit of luck and a bit of your attention to do it right. They are quite standard stuff that you expect in this sort of a game. To be honest, on my first playthrough, I didn't really go for the pickpocketing or lockpicking. Second time I decided to go full robber baron style, robbing everything and everyone day and night. Turns out, if you steal, you make money quite fast. But you do lose the respect of the people and it changes the dynamics a bit. I didn't see any meaningful impact though. Maybe it's there on the hardcore mode, which I didn't try yet. I mean, those small details definitely help with replayability, and I love it. I also enjoy the fact that you can straight up go for the max stats on everything once you're in the open world, before you even complete the first major quest line. You can just go fight, shoot bow, brew potions, hunt, or go and do any other thing you want, and that will level you up until, well, until you can't go any higher, and honestly, that's cool. It's just a matter of your willingness to fight your boredom of doing the same thing over and over. For example, I do go for the highest possible alchemy level that I can reach without getting too bored with the grind. Having a ton of great potions is always a plus. I do wish for a bit more depth to all of these. They're good enough to keep me engaged for a fairly quick campaign run, but if you're exploring the world and taking your sweet time doing it, which you have to, and it is wonderful, but then you get to the ceiling quite quickly, without having some added complexity to those mechanics. Maybe something requiring more finesse while crafting a special longsword, adding powders or edge work or anything else that makes crafting challenging. Same applies to alchemy, even fighting in a sense. The reason is simple. When you get to like the middle of the story while completing most of the side quests, you get too good. And what felt meditative and engaging starts to feel boring. And this brings me to the story of the game itself. I found the main storyline to be quite grounded but still enjoyable. It does have some nice plot twists, some really funny moments. Overall, I would say if I were to put it on the scale, it was 7 out of 10 for me. The reason is mostly about the characters, about how plain they are, and I just didn't feel them grow all that much. Sometimes it felt like arguing came just from I want it that way and not this way, like with Zizka, which is strange to say the least. Why not just make the best of what you have in the situation, intelligence, money, or anything else? The Capon surprisingly overcoming his claustrophobia when the story needed it, and by doing that just unmaking a big part of the earlier events felt strange to me. The thing is, the story itself is good, it's the characters who are interesting but not deep enough, and that leads them to do what you believe they'll do. Master Wojta from the Brushes with Death, it felt like he was just abusing Henry's goodwill in exchange for painting his shields. I feel that they wanted some mysterious story mixed in. It came out as something not really worth your time. Wojta actually got on my nerves multiple times, and I really just wanted to finish the story, which I did once and never touched it again, expecting a payoff that didn't happen. Out of all of them, Van Burgo felt good. He seemed to have the best reasoning, used all of his opportunities to come up on top. And naturally, the man that carried that story is Henry. Henry is a funny, endearing character, though he gets taken advantage of a bit too easily. And the game never quite gives us enough reason for why he would drop everything for every stranger he meets. That said, the story is more than good enough to play and replay sometime later. It's just not the main dish. It's not something I would be remembering as the best ever in 5 years. But let's talk about a few other things that didn't land for me. I had sort of a flashback to Witcher 3 with most of the faces of the NPCs being the same. Even when they played at least somewhat memorable role in the story, it breaks immersion a bit. I really can't wrap my head around what is so difficult or restricting to create a ton of different NPCs just to fill the world. I mean, it's likely bothersome maybe. Here I see the same thing, though they have about 10 years in between them, which makes it even worse. It's strange seeing the same faces again and again in different roles and clothes. I doubt that it's much harder to create more faces than clothes, though it's certainly a nitpick. It doesn't really affect the story all that much. It would have been nice to have though. I have some questions about combat, especially the combat with the halberd, swords, literally with any weapon as well. I know it's supposed to be realistic in how it's handled, and it most likely is. I'm not an expert on medieval sword fighting techniques. What I know is it could be more fun. And once you open the world of Dollmaker plus a good bow, you most likely won't even need that too. I think that's the place where you can feel that disconnect. Otherwise, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, just something I wanted to point out. While we're at it, I also didn't like the length of some go take and bring me quests. They felt a bit shallow and time wasting. Looking at you, Crazel questline. Specifically, the long rides, which are sometimes unnecessary and quite bland to be frank. It would have been nice if they included the option to skip them more. I know it's present in some cases, but not all of them. I believe Rockstar did a great job in the similar situation in RDR2. The concept is overall the same long, immersive rides through the beauty, but in RDR, it didn't feel like they were unnecessary. Some stuff always happened and kept me engaged. It's been a while since I played RDR2, but I think it comes down to the conversations the people had, better written maybe, and the cinematic camera view definitely helped. While those are real things I didn't like, they're not game-breaking or vibe-killing. They're just areas that deserved more love from the developers. It could have elevated the game even further. Now let's do a quick recap of DLCs. The brushes with Dev felt like a long slog. It wasn't really fun. It was too strange for my taste just for the sake of it. I did get quite bored and frankly angry with the main guy, Master Void in it. I mean, it was going on and on and on, just go bring me that, without much substance or motivation to do it. I mean, it almost made me feel like Henry was his unpaid servant or somebody who has nothing better to do. The Legacy of the Forge is quite nice though. It is for someone who loves the world itself as well as the mechanics and wants more time with Henry in Bohemia. The storyline is nice, you get to learn about Henry's father more, get to enjoy the city more, and what the life of a burgher is like. If you liked all that, the DLC does it. It feels like they knew what they wanted to achieve with this one, and did exactly that. The Sedlets Monastery is the one I thoroughly enjoyed. I like the change of pace of a large open world to a contained monastery with more focus on stealth and investigation. It felt like it did a great job of tightening everything up, changing the pace and stakes in one place. And felt really meaningful to actually complete. Interesting storyline, good characters. Overall, I didn't really expect it in this game, but it was something fresh to break up the large open world with many things to do. The monastery itself is quite big and full of life, something that developers got quite right, I believe. That's the best DLC in the game by a long shot. So in any case, where is the crowning jewel at? The crowning jewel is the world itself. The mechanics, the villages, the forests, the rivers, the care that the developers put into recreating a way of life that feels intentional rather than generic. This game is a testament to the passion behind it. And that's what gaming is about. If you like RPGs, Bohemia is worth experiencing firsthand. In any case, this is it for me today. It's good to be back. See you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and bye bye.